In the last month, Lin Yao began to reduce his public appearances. Initially, no one accepted. Crosstown channels still have a habit of tagging him in times of crisis. When the Taipei city government encounters difficult problems, it still asks him for his opinion as soon as possible. Although his name is not on the watch list of the Incompleters League, everyone knows that he is always online. This is not the result he wants. If everyone is waiting for his judgment, then Atlas just has a different face. So he started not replying to instant messages. Not disappear, but delay. For the first time, Qinwan felt very uncomfortable. She watched a crosstown controversy stuck for 3 hours and finally couldn't help but make a phone call. Did you see the message? I saw it. Then why don't you reply? The night watchman is Morikawa Rin. But she asked for your opinion. She can make a temporary judgment first. Qinwan was silent. You are so cruel. I know. She's afraid of making mistakes. Me too. But you're more used to it. Lin Yao paused. That's why it can't be me forever. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a long time. Finally Qinwan said, I hate that you are right. In that dispute, Rin Morikawa finally made his own judgment. Not perfect. One process was written too narrowly, and Arthur later pointed out that it might exclude some mutual aid communities. Morikawa Rin corrected it on the spot. She wrote at the end of the meeting minutes. This judgment is not Lin Yao's confirmed version. Errors will be recorded and corrected by this round of vigil nodes. This sentence seems ordinary. But it is the beginning of the true maturity of the unfinished alliance. The second time, it was Tang Jingheng. Taipei's fracture zone replenishment policy has encountered a major backlash. Lawmakers called for an end to supplies to those unwilling to evacuate, calling it a waste of tax dollars. Tang Jingheng drafted 3 versions of his response and wanted to show them to Lin Yao. In the end, he didn't pass it. He took the stage himself. When questioned, he said, supplies are not rewards. It is to prevent the crack zone from deteriorating into a higher risk. Reluctance to evacuate does not mean that you do not have the right to personal safety. Policies can be reviewed, but we cannot use food shortages to force people back to the world we consider normal. After he finished speaking, he sent the video to Lin Yao. P.S. No need to change. Lin Yao looked at those 3 words and laughed for a long time. The third time, it was Xiao Wu. She was asked at school, does Lin Yao know everything? Xiao Wu was confused after returning home. Do you know everything? Lin Yao is cooking noodles. I don't know. Then why do they think you know? Because I often look like I know. Xiao Wu sat at the dining table and thought about it seriously. Then can you look less ignorant from now on? Lin Yao almost spilled the soup. I try hard. Xiao Wu nodded. This way people will be less likely to keep asking you. She said it innocently. But it is so accurate that it is impossible to refute. From that day on, Lin Yao said more often in public meetings, I don't know. At first, many people were uneasy. Later, they started to get used to it. Later, others started to talk too. I don't know, but we can do a safety check first. I don't know, but this option is a red line. I don't know, but we can check with those affected. I don't know, but it doesn't need to be done now. Not knowing is no longer blank. It becomes the entrance to the next step. The fourth time, it was Eli. He received an invitation to a large international forum to give a closing speech. The topic is, how do people survive after rejecting heroes? Eli forwards the invitation to Maya. Maya asked, do you want to go? Eli said, I don't know. Before, this not knowing would drive him crazy. Now, he held off on the invitation for 3 days. On the third day, he responded to the organizer. I will not give a closing speech. But I can participate in a small conversation that is not recorded. The topic is not how to survive. The topic is how to spend today. The organizers accepted after hesitation. There were only 20 people in that conversation. There is no live broadcast. There are no golden quotes. Someone asked Eli, "Do you feel better now?" Eli said, "No." "Then why do you want to come?" Eli thought for a moment. "Because I'm not asked to be nice here." This sentence was not cut into the short film. But those present remembered. The fifth time, it was Claire. A major breakthrough occurs in one of her pending cases. All media outlets demanded that she go public immediately. The remaining community of the Undead Knight also asked her to release the names of the perpetrators. She knew there was one missing piece of evidence. In the past, she might have asked Lin Yao how to choose between justice and risk. This time, she didn't ask. She convened a team of investigators to divide responsibilities. The last ones made public are: institutional cover-up confirmed. It has been confirmed that the file has been modified. 2 members of management have been identified as subject to investigation. Direct responsibility for the death has not been confirmed. All medical care must not be tagged. Do not harass family members. Some people accused her of protecting the perpetrator. Others thanked her for not allowing hatred to spread. Claire sent Lin Yao a photo that night. In the photo is a desk lamp. P.S. I didn't ask you. Lin Yao replied. Very good. The 6th time was Lin Yao himself. He received a 3rd rotation invitation from the Incomplete League. In order, many people think he should take it once. He refused. The reason is simple. I am still considered too central and unfit to serve as a watchman. This sentence caused controversy. Some say he shirked responsibility. Some say he is falsely modest. Some people say they don't feel at ease without him. Lin Yao didn't explain much. He only said, "If you don't feel at ease without me, then you should practice without me." Finally, the 3rd rotation was taken over by Arthur. On his first day in office, there was a problem with the system. Mutual aid note banks are being flooded with unauthorized trauma stories. Arthur was distraught. But he didn't look for Lin Yao. He found Maya, Claire, Morikawa Rin, and Qin Wan. The 4 of them established a temporary quarantine together. 20 hours later, the problem was solved. Arthur wrote at the end of the meeting minutes. No Lin Yao. Still solved. He was just joking. But this sentence was kept within the unfinished alliance. Because this is not to exclude Lin Yao. It's about proving that the defense can really start to spread out. In the last week of Season 4, Lin Yao moved away from the Obsidian safe point. He did not leave Taipei. Just moved to a very ordinary small apartment. There is a breakfast shop downstairs. There is a bookstore nearby. Looking out from the balcony is a row of old apartments and electrical wires. Xiao Wu asked, "Do you want to retire?" Lin Yao put the box down. It doesn't count. Then what do you want to do? Learn not to be in the center all the time. Xiao Wu thought for a while. Then can I come to you for dinner? Okay. Then are you still my center? Lin Yao was stunned. Xiao Wu looked at him very seriously. Not the kind of world. It's like eating. Lin Yao smiled. This is okay. On the night of the move, many people sent messages.
Qin Wanjuan, don't think you don't have to answer the phone if you move out.
Tang Jingheng said, the city government will not look for you immediately again.
Unless it is really about to explode. Shen Jibai said, you finally look a little more like a human being. Maya biography, good. Stay unavailable sometimes. Eli's biography, I didn't tell anyone where you live. You're welcome. No throne biography, if you become a symbol again, I'll break your door. Lin Yao looked at these messages and replied one by one. No long form. There are no rules. Just a simple reply. Roger that. Thanks. Eat first. At 10 o'clock in the evening, he sat on the balcony and looked at the city lights in the distance. The world is still noisy. Still messy. There are still many areas waiting to be fixed. But for the first time, Lin Yao did not turn on global monitoring. He just listened to the sound of the breakfast shop owner downstairs closing his stall, the children next door practicing the piano, and the traffic in the distance. Live each other's lives. This sentence is not laissez-faire. Not cutting. It's about acknowledging that no one should bear everyone's responsibility. He will still be there when needed. But no longer let all roads lead to him. In his unanswered notes that day, he wrote, I didn't stand in the center today. The world does not stop because of this. Then he turns off the light and goes to sleep. This is a very small thing. But for Lin Yao, it was almost like another victory. Underscore 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 underscore. 5 years later, the unanswered notes were placed in the New Civilization Museum. Not the original one. The original copy was still in Lin Yao's hand. A public copy is on display in the museum. The copy has been heavily masked. All private content, unauthorized questions, wounds still being processed, are kept private. There are only a few pages of excerpts published with my permission in the display case. I want answers, but I don't want to hand over the final say. Don't ask today. I cannot be the place where you live. If you leave, we will look for you first, not blame you first. Don't tell me he wants me to be happy. Just sit with me. An accusation is not a judgment, and the accuser is not the defendant. Today's name is Shitsi. I just want someone to know I'm here. The exhibition name is Unanswered Future. Many people came to see it. Student. Researcher. Survivor. Family members. People who have supported Atlas. Someone who once hated all systems. There are also people who are just passing by and come in to take shelter because of the rain. The museum guide will say in front of the display case. This is not a book of answers. It preserves issues that people haven't handed over. A child asked, why do we need to save questions? The tour guide replied, because once some questions are taken away by others, they will become answers that control you. The child asked again, wouldn't it be annoying if you keep not answering? The tour guide smiled. Yes. Then why still? The tour guide said, because I can answer slowly. There is a small room next to the exhibition. There are no cameras inside. No data synchronization. Just paper and pen. On the wall is written. You can write down the questions or take them with you. No need to pay. A lot of people were sitting there. After someone finished writing, he folded it and put it in his pocket. Someone tore it off. Someone didn't write anything and just sat there for a while. Someone cried. Someone is asleep. The museum will not record it. This is the condition Lin Yao insists on. Unanswered notes cannot be turned into new data collection. It is impossible to count the most common human sufferings. Unable to generate next-generation emotion models. It cannot be used to train any system. It only serves as a reminder. It reminds people that there was a time when the answers were too many, too fast, too complete, so complete that they almost swallowed people up. On the opening day of the exhibition, Lin Yao did not cut the ribbon. He stood at the back of the crowd, wearing a hat, like an ordinary spectator. When Xinwan found him, he was looking at the phrase "Today's name is Shitzi" in the display case. Xinwan said, "Shitzi is no longer called Shitzi today." Lin Yao smiled. "What's it called?" He said his name was Ache today. "Very good. He's grown a lot taller." "Yeah." Xinwan looked at the display cabinet and suddenly said, "Did you know? Someone proposed to list the unanswered notes as the core text of the new civilization." Lin Yao frowned. Xinwan immediately said, "I veto it." "Reason?" "The core text sounds too much like it and will be tested." Lin Yao smiled. "A very good reason." Xinwan leaned against the wall. 5 years later, her hair has been cut shorter and her eyes are more stable than before. She no longer stares at all the screens like she used to. The League of Incompletes now has a mature rotation that doesn't require her to be there day and night. But she is still the best data risk analyzer. Only now, she'll be on vacation. Will refuse the meeting. I will also write at the end of the report. This analysis does not constitute a final judgment. Like a certain professional habit, but also like an attitude towards life. At the other end of the exhibition, Eli was chatting quietly with several students. He didn't go on stage. There were no speeches. Just sitting in the corner. A student asked him, "Did you find meaning later?" Eli thought for a moment. "Not one meaning. Not a meaning. Some days, breakfast. Some days, friends. Some days, nothing. Some days, it's breakfast. Some days, it's friends. Some days, there is nothing." The student asked, "Is it okay to have nothing?" Eli nodded. "It has to be. It must be possible." Morikawa Rin is also here. She placed a small electronic lamp in front of the display case. Not for museum display. It's just her own habit. Mitsuki is currently in college and did not come to the opening. She sent a message to Morikawa Rin. "Not going today. Just put a light on for me." Morikawa Rin did as he was told. Yoon Seo-yun takes Ji-yoon's family to shoot a new documentary. Documentaries are not successful family stories. Its name is "We Are Still Practicing." In the first episode, Ji-yoon and her mother quarreled. In the middle of the quarrel, Ji-yoon said, "I want to go out for a walk." The mother's first reaction was still nervous. But she took a deep breath and said, "Send the message." Ji-yoon said, "Okay." She's gone. A message will be sent in 30 minutes. I am still alive and still angry. Mother replied. Received. After this episode was aired, many families left messages saying that the solution was not to stop arguing, but to stop locking each other up when they quarreled. Arthur's Xiaobei Mutual Aid Library has become a basic tool for many communities. But he always refused to make it a super app. "Once it becomes a big mug, I will quit," he said. Claire's Desklight network is still slow. Over 5 years, they uncovered a number of cases. There are also more cases still pending. She was often scolded. But the lights did not go out in Paris at night. No Throne later actually joined the emergency exit group. He still likes to smash things. But before each smash, he would first ask, "Is the exit open?" This made him very unhappy. But he asked anyway.
When the exhibition opening came to an end, Xiaowu stood next to Lin Yao. She has grown taller.
No more carrying around a blanket.
But she still had an old cloth strap tied around her wrist.
She looked at the showcase and asked, "Do you think the future will be better?" Lin Yao didn't answer immediately.
5 years ago, he might have analyzed the risks. I would say it may be good or it may be bad.
It will remind you that there is no guarantee. Now, he still can't guarantee it.
But he learned another answer.
I don't know. Xiaowu nodded. Then what do we do next?
Lin Yao looked outside the museum. The rain stopped. The sky is gray, but there is light.
Eat first. Xiaowu smiled. You've been saying a lot lately that you should eat first. Because it's useful.
The two walked out of the museum.
On the street outside, people were coming and going. No one knows if there will be a new atlas again in the future. No one knows if humanity will ever again hand over power to some too complete answer.
No one knows how long the incomplete league will last. No one knows whether these small lamps, small cups, desk lamps, temporary names, and notes can really withstand the fear of the next era. There was no answer from the future. But it wasn't handed over either.
This is enough for one to take a step forward.
Underscore 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 underscore.
Many years later, Lin Yao opened a bookstore in a coastal town.
The bookstore has no sign. There was only a small lamp hanging at the door.
Selling books during the day. Sell coffee in the evening. Sometimes, nothing is sold, just people sitting. The people in the town didn't know who he was at first. Later someone recognized him. Some people pretended not to recognize it.
Everyone gradually formed a tacit understanding.
Don't ask him about world events in the store. Don't ask him to make judgments about your life.
Don't make every one of his words an aphorism.
If you really want to ask, you can only order a drink first. And he doesn't have to answer. This rule was written by Xiaowu.
She occasionally comes to the store to help. When you come, there is always a piece of paper left by the counter. The shopkeeper is not a god.
There is also a line of small print below. But the coffee is okay.
When Lin Yao saw it for the first time, he wanted to take the paper off.
Xiaowu is not sure. This is the line of defense.
Lin Yao had no choice but to accept it.
There are many kinds of customers in bookstores. There are travelers. There are students. There are people with insomnia. There are children who don't want to go home. There are people who want to go home but are not ready yet. There are people who once supported Atlas but later didn't know how to face themselves. There are people who have been hurt by Atlas and are still afraid of any system. Some people just buy books. Some people sit for a long time. Lin Yao never takes the initiative to ask. There is a wall in the store. Blank notes lay on the wall. Next to it write. You can write questions. Can be taken away. You can also leave it, but the store owner will not answer for you. Not many notes were left. Most people take it away as soon as they finish writing. Occasionally someone stays. Lin Yao will tidy up after closing. No photos taken. Out of sync. No analysis. Just put them into a wooden box. The wooden box says, temporary release.
One winter evening, a young man walked into a bookstore. He was wearing a soaked coat, his hair stuck to his forehead, and his eyes were red as if he hadn't slept for a long time.
He is not reading. Just sitting by the window.
Lin Yao poured him a glass of hot water.
The young man whispered, "I have no money. Water is free."
The young man was holding the cup, his hand shaking violently. Much later, he said, "I used to wish Atlas came back." The store was quiet.
It's raining loudly outside.
Lin Yao didn't change his face.
Yeah.
The young man raised his head, as if waiting to be scolded.
Lin Yao just wiped the cup.
The young man's voice was even lower, because at least someone told me what I should do.
There is no one now. I know Atlas is bad. I know it hurts a lot of people. But sometimes I still hope that there is something that can tell me the answer directly.
When he finished speaking, it was as if he had finally admitted some kind of sin.
Tears fell.
Lin Yao put the clean cup back on the shelf.
It's not a sin to want answers.
The young man was stunned.
But what I want is that kind of strong answer. Yeah. Would it be bad? Lin Yao sat opposite him. The worst thing is not wanting. It's about handing yourself over.
The young man looked down at the water glass.
Then what if I can't help but hand it over? Lin Yao pointed to the note on the wall.
Write it down first.
What to write? Write what you want to ask.
The young man walked to the wall and took a piece of paper.
He wrote for a long time. Finally, fold the paper and leave nothing behind.
He put the paper into his pocket.
Can I take it away?
Okay.
I don't need to show it to you? No need. The young man stood at the door and turned around and asked, "Can I come next time?"
Yes.
What if I still want answers?
Okay. The young man nodded, opened the door and walked into the rain.
Xiaowu poked her head out of the warehouse at the back.
She is now a college student and still appears as suddenly as before when she comes back occasionally.
You just looked like a shopkeeper.
Lin Yao looked at her.
Not like God? It doesn't look like that. Very good. Xiaowu walked to the window and watched the young man's back disappear into the rain. Is he going to be okay? Lin Yao said, I don't know. Xiaowu nodded.
But he knows the lights are on here.
Yeah. This is why bookstores exist. Not saving everyone. Not providing a final answer.
Just to let some people know there's a light left on before they're about to hand themselves over. That winter, the Incompletes League encountered a major crisis. A new predictive management tool broke out in a certain region, claiming not to use Atlas data, but began to generate life deviation risks for teenagers.
The League quickly stepped in. Rin Morikawa is no longer on duty as a vigilante but still provides ethics review. Xinwan found the model deviation.
Maya raises legal restrictions. Claire found out that the company behind it was related to the old Atlas data provider. No Throne led the team to block the physical exit of the server. Arthur establishes support for affected students.
Reporting by Yoon Seo-yun. Lin Yao did not participate in the front line. He received the summary only 3 days later. The crisis is under control. There are errors. But not out of control. He looked at the report for a long time and finally put it away in a drawer. Xiaowu asked, Aren't you sad? They didn't look for you. Lin Yao smiled. No. Really? Really? Then why did you look at it for so long? Lin Yao looked out the window. The night in the seaside town is very dark.
The lamp at the door of the bookstore swayed gently in the wind.
Because I'm making sure that the light is not only on here. Xiaowu didn't ask again.
She flipped the sign on the door of the store to read open.
Is it still open today? Open. It's so late. Someone might come. Xiao Wu sighed. You still love Vigil. Lin Yao looked at her. It's time to open the store. What's the difference? He thought about it. The Vigil keeps staring into the darkness. To open a store, all you need to do is leave a light on. Xiao Wu smiled. This sentence can be written on the wall. No. Why? It will become a golden sentence. Then write it smaller. In the end, Xiao Wu wrote secretly. It's written under the counter, very small. There is no need to light up the world, just keep the light on. Lin Yao found out the next day. He didn't wipe it off. Because that sentence is not a command. Not a principle. It's just the current name of this bookstore. Years later, someone asked where the real ending of Season 4 was. Some say the night the referendum on civility failed. Some say that when the Atlas Council collapsed. Some people say that after the central server is sealed. Others say it was the day the no recycling ordinance was passed. But Xiao Wu always felt that the real ending was in that bookstore. A young man walked into the rain with his own problems. Didn't get an answer. Nor did he hand over the problem. And the lights in the store were still on. That's enough. Underscore 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 underscore. At the end of Season 4, the world wasn't sorted out. This incident disappointed many people. It also gave many people a sigh of relief. Because once the world was sorted out, it almost didn't need people. In that world, every wound is classified. Each family has sync status. Every dead person has an echo. Every pain has a container. Every case has a revenge route. Every uncertainty has an expiration date. Every rejection has a price. Everyone can be placed in the most reasonable position. As long as you're willing to let the system do it for you. But real people don't live like this. People will regret it. Will be afraid. You will want the answer, but you will be afraid that the answer will be your own. Will miss the deceased but not want to open the door. I want to go home, and I also want to keep the possibility of leaving. I want to share stories, and I also want to stop sharing one day. Will want to pursue justice, but also be afraid of wrongly blaming innocent people. I want to be seen, and I don't want to be recorded forever. I would call in Sheetsy today, rain boots tomorrow, and nothing at all the day after tomorrow. Such human beings cannot be perfectly organized. And this is not a flaw. This is proof that humans are still humans. The last cross-city meeting of Season 4 was held on a very ordinary night. There is no crisis. There is no alarm. Just a routine handover. Rin Morikawa has been out of office for a long time. Arthur also stepped down. When Claire left office, she left behind a 70-page revision report. No Throne took a turn once, and everyone was very nervous, but he unexpectedly did a good job. However, the meeting record was full of swear words, and Maya asked half of it to be edited. The new night watchman is Teacher Sue. The teacher who initially piloted the unfinished course. She is not a technical expert. Not a lawyer. Not a reporter. Not a God's domain player either. She just faces many children in the classroom every day who don't know how to ask their own questions. When her name appeared on the duty list, Lin Yao sat in the bookstore and looked at the screen, laughing for a long time. Xin sent him a message. This means we are really scattered. Lin Yao replied. Very good. Before the meeting ended that night, Teacher Sue asked all nodes as usual. Are there any unfinished items that need to be marked? Xingye said, there are still cases of abuse of the addressing system in Weiming City today.
Rin Morikawa said, someone recently tried to add an interactive echo to the Huangquan memorial page.
It needs to be monitored. The survivor's public sharing authorization template needs to be updated, Maya said. Claire said, someone in the Case Light network regarded the delamination as a delay and is currently fixing it. Arthur said, someone in the mutual aid notebook library wants to make a ranking list. No Throne said, can the leaderboard be smashed? Maya said, open the exit first. No Throne cursed. There were people laughing in the meeting. Teacher Sue recorded one item after another. Finally, she said, okay, we're not done today. We'll continue tomorrow. This sentence is very common. But it's like the best epilogue of Season 4. Not done today. Continue tomorrow. No one feels this sentence fails. Because they finally learned that not finishing is not stopping. Incompleteness is just the shape of human beings continuing to live. Late at night, Lin Yao turned off the conference projection. There was only one lamp left in the bookstore. It's raining outside. The wind chime at the door rang softly. Someone pushed the door open and came in. It's a strange girl. She looked to be 16 or 17 years old. She was carrying a school bag and stood at the door for a long time before she asked in a low voice, "Can I sit here for a while?" Lin Yao looked up from behind the counter. "Okay. Don't you need anything?" "No need." The girl came in and sat by the window. She didn't cry. Didn't speak either. He just put his school bag next to him and looked down at his hands. Lin Yao poured a glass of warm water and placed it on her table. Didn't ask her name. Didn't ask her where she was from. He didn't ask her if she was in danger. All he said was, "If you need to make a phone call, there's a charger over there." The girl nodded. After a long time, she asked, "If I don't know where to go now, will it be troublesome?" Lin Yao sat back behind the counter. "It will be a little bit." The girl looked up. He added, "But you can sit down first." The girl's eyes slowly turned red. She lowered her head to drink water. No more words were spoken. Half an hour later, she picked up the note on the wall and wrote a sentence. She didn't stay. Just fold it up and put it in your pocket. Before leaving, she looked back at Lin Yao. Will it still be open tomorrow? Open. What if I don't know yet? You can come too. The girl nodded, opened the door and walked into the rain. The wind chime rang again. Lin Yao watched her figure disappear at the corner of the street. He didn't follow. No tracking was initiated either. Just turn up the light at the door of the store a little brighter. This is the world after Season 4. There are no big wins. There is no final answer. The future is not sorted out. There are only people who don't know where to go, and occasionally find a light that is still on in the rainy night. And some people are willing to say, "You can sit down first. You can think about it tomorrow. It's okay not to know. You don't have to hand it over. Can survive to the next step." After closing time, Lin Yao opened his unanswered notes. On the last page, he wrote, "The world is not sorted out. But today, someone did not hand themselves over. The light is still on." He paused and added another sentence below. End of Season 4. When the pen tip fell, the rain outside the window stopped. It's still dark. But there is already a very faint light on the sea in the distance. That's not God. Not the answer. Just a new day. Humanity, on the other hand, is still unfinished and slowly moving towards it.